Greetings all and welcome to Dave's Craft Attic. I am here in the attic of my new house and I am ready to make a quilt. So this is the thing, I'm here in my new house, I'm so bored. When you move from a somewhat isolated island in the Pacific to New Mexico, it actually takes a very, very long time for all of your furniture and belongings to get here. And so I literally have lived here for coming up on a month, I guess more like 3 weeks. And just have been waiting for my things to get here. I mean, I do have like a bed. I have some of the most basic things. I don't have all of my craft room set up, but I'm so bored and I need to make something. And I've been doing hand projects, like I've been working on an FPP quilt. I've been working on my Baltimore album quilt, but those are going to be long-term projects. I need to do something that I can finish because I'm losing my mind. And here we are in New Mexico this weekend. We're supposed to get a very bad winter storm, allegedly. We're supposed to get 5 inches. So I'm going to be cooped up in here with nothing to do. And so I surely did go on Facebook and get this sewing machine. Isn't she cute? It's so small. And I found this on Facebook. What's funny about finding it on Facebook is I realized that this is the very same machine that they sell in Walmart for $100. And the person I bought it from on Facebook probably bought it and then I guess didn't like it or didn't want it or didn't know how to use it and they sold it to me. So this is not like a top of the line Singer, but Singer is a good brand, so I'm sure it'll do the trick for now. And what is the project? When I was home on leave to my parents' house before I moved here, my mom was like, you know you have a bunch of crap in the garage, you should get that out of here. And in there was this garbage bag full of mostly flannels, like pieces of flannels cut up, that is. And to be honest, I have no idea where this came from. I don't really remember. But I want to get rid of it. The only way to get rid of it is to sew it up into a quilt. So I'm literally just going to sew this up into whatever quilt it makes. And that's literally it. There's also a pile of t-shirt jersey in here. This is t-shirt jersey and then the rest is plaid flannels. I don't know whether the t-shirt jersey needs to go in there. I think probably not. So yeah, I got set up here a basic preliminary setup, which is just my sewing machine. I have a small cutting mat here. And then this is my tiny iron. It's hot. This will do the trick for now. I mean, it'll work. And then also, unfortunately, we have retired the Windex bottle and we're just using this from Walmart. So that's that. And I have an ironing board over here. I don't think you can see it, but cool. Let's get into it. Let's see if this sewing machine is gonna work. I mean, I'm sure it's gonna work. We just need to load some bobbins up and get into it. Let's start with like some neutrals. You know what's funny about this idea of making this quilt? I first moved to New Mexico in 2018. I moved into my house and just like this, I didn't have any furniture in there. And that's not because I was waiting for the movers to bring it. At that time, I literally just didn't own anything. And even prior to, I like ordered stuff online and everything. Even prior to getting any furniture, I bought a small sewing machine at Walmart and made a quilt. You know what? Maybe this is the scraps from that quilt. Maybe that's what that is. Why did I hold on to them for so long instead of using them? There's no way to know. Okay, how to do the bobbin like this. Okay. I haven't even built my design wall yet. I think the video is gonna come out. The video of the design wall I think is gonna come out prior to this video. But as of today, I have not built the design wall yet. And it's also gonna go downstairs. Okay, it's not that fast, but there's no speed setting either. There is a few different stitches. Reverse. I like it. It's basic. I like a basic model. You know, this is scrap quilt. I don't care what color of thread I'm using. It's all the same kind of thread. It's just different colors, so I can put a different one on the top and the bottom. I have this house. The craft room is actually going to be downstairs. One of the bedrooms. Or in the bedroom. There's only one bedroom downstairs. I don't like to sleep on the ground floor of a house especially when there's an attic. But it's freezing cold down there now. I'm trying to like conserve energy and stuff, and so I'm not heating it because I'm not in it. So, but that's it. This is an old house, and it's not like particularly nice and good or anything, but I just absolutely fell in love with this house. My friend Becca helped me look at the house so that I could actually get it. And Becca, who you You probably don't know her, but she's the person who has the Cheez-It quilt. A lot of people emailed me asking me if they could buy the Cheez-It quilt, and I said no, I gave it to my friend Becca, so back off. Yeah, I guess we're ready to start. Oh, what are we gonna do? Look at all this flannel. You know, I think the thing to do is to just grab and sew, grab and sew, grab and sew. I've grabbed, I'm gonna sew. I'm literally, I mean, there's no like strategy to speak of per se. I'm just cutting and sewing. This does remind me of like in the olden days, you know, people would just take whatever they had and sew it up. And it was not necessarily important that it looked good. It was important that they kept them warm for the winter. And that is how I feel right now. I'm just trying to stay warm. It is freezing cold here. You don't usually associate New Mexico with cold, but it does get cold here. If you guys saw my design wall video, you would have seen in that where I talked about my Blazer. I had a Chevy Blazer. I drove the Chevy Blazer all the way here to New Mexico, and unfortunately as soon as I got here, within a few days, I traded it in and I got a Honda Civic. I really liked the Blazer. I wanted it to work out. It just wasn't reliable enough for me, unfortunately. It was a 30-year-old vehicle, and it's a very good quality of vehicle, but just not the T for me. All right, we're about to do our first seams. I didn't like measure them to see that they were the right size. I'm just gonna sew stuff together and then trim it. There is a right side and a wrong side to flannel. I don't pay attention to that stuff. I'm not very, particular about any of that. Oh, there's no knee bar. I'm used to working with a knee bar. Yeah, most machines are not gonna have a knee bar. Actually, I realized that no Singer sewing machines have knee bars. And I don't know why that is. And I was like, maybe it's a copyrighted thing, but it's not, because multiple different brands of sewing machines have knee bars. But no Singers do. Is tension right? It's kind of slow. We can go a little bit bigger on the stitch length. That might speed things up. Tension looks good. We can say that at least. The speed at which this machine moves is a lot slower than I'm used to, and I know that other Singers do go faster. This is a very, very basic Singer, but my brother PQ1500 SL goes super fast. Cool, let's just keep sewing. From that, we will build. Just like we are building our life back together now that I live in New Mexico. First chunk. This is a chunk. Are the seams straight? No. Are the colors pretty and matching together? No. Will it keep me warm this winter? Just about. So let's continue along in this way, and since I don't have a design wall, I'm gonna lay them out on the floor over here, or over here. But for now, I just wanna accumulate chunks. I'll lay them out somehow later. Okay. Cool, we're gonna go into the montage mode now, so here we go. That's gonna be a wrap for today. Basically, I think this is the thing to do. Make long strips and then sew the long strips together. So I'll continue tomorrow. Oh my gosh! I have been listening to the audiobook of Wicked. It's nuts! You know, they said online that the musical is nothing like the book, so I knew that going in, but I was still not ready for how different it is from the musical. It's a different story completely. It's not even, I mean, when you watch the musical and then read the book, you're like, okay, none of this stuff happened. None of it. Okay, so you know what's kind of interesting? Every time I work with flannel on my channel, I get comments about starch. I don't use starch, and the reason I don't use it is because I don't like it. You know, it makes your fabric like stiff and it like stops it from stretching and all that. I guess that's what people like about it, but I don't want that. The thing is that it kind of prevents you from achieving like very strange and interesting shapes. I'm not going for perfect 90-degree angles. I'm going for just suggestion. And so that's why I don't starch. But yeah, I've just been kind of chain piecing. It's basically like just find two pieces that you can sew together. And that's literally it. And then I have a pile here, and then I'll, you know, trim those and then put them together or sew something else onto there and make them bigger. And that's how I'm proceeding. Yesterday felt a bit awkward because I'm making a quilt for my first time in a new craft room, although this is only a temporary, it's only a one-time thing. But today I feel better. I've gotten used to it. I think sometimes you just have to get used to a new setup. When I get to my new craft room, it'll be a new setup too. I mean, I'm gonna probably set it up like the same way, to be honest. Just, it'll still be slightly different. Oh, these cashews are really good. Cool. I'm gonna stop filming. It's easier for me to work when I don't have to film. I'll come back later when I'll probably have bigger chunks ready. Okay, people, this is the end of the second day. This is what I have come up with for my second panel, and I realized that we're just gonna have like 3 panels. So I have 2 so far, although this one's not fully sewn up together yet, it's almost sewn up. And then the other one's over there, folded in half. And then tomorrow I will make the 3rd one. And then sew the 3 of them together and then sew it up. Thus far, I've been selecting the flannels, which I thought were like the least offensive in terms of ugliness, and I've ran out of those. And so the only ones that I have left now are like really ugly colors, and like this one. I mean, I kind of like the colors, but they don't go together at all. So our quilt is getting less and less hinged, more and more unhinged. So anyways, cool. I'm gonna keep working tomorrow. Alright, this is the 3rd of the 3 panels, and it's now time to sew the 3 panels up. This is unhinged. These colors are so horrible. I love them. Cool, I'm gonna sew these panels up and then sandwich it. I'll probably sandwich it downstairs where I have room. Okay, people, I'm here in my living room, my empty living room. This will probably be the last time I can use this space to sandwich a quilt because I'm gonna get furniture in here. Hopefully next week. But I have this. This is the t-shirt jersey king size sheet. And let me just say right away that I don't think using a king size sheet is a good idea for most people. Most people would probably get very frustrated with the stretchiness of it all. But I have worked with t-shirt jersey a lot. It's very soft and very comfy, and I'll make it work. You know, a carpeted floor is actually best for doing this because the friction kind of keeps your stuff still. I am gonna tie this quilt. I'm gonna baste around the edge, and then I have safety pins. I don't really have enough to go over the whole thing, but I'll cover whatever I can. And then I'm just gonna start tying with this. This is embroidery floss. This is kind of subdued colors I feel like kind of goes with it. And that's how I'm gonna finish the quilt. So here I go. Oh, and then I'm also gonna use the backing, cut off this extra batting, and then fold the backing over to be the binding. Cool, let's start basting. I pieced this top. Today's day 3 of piecing. I'm gonna tie it. Quilt this size, it's gonna need a lot of ties. It's heavy, and so there's gonna be a lot of like tension on each point that you tie it, which is okay as long as you put in more ties. No idea how long that's gonna take me, but I do know the piecing of the quilt top took 3 days, and I have had today off of work because it's Martin Luther King Day. Nothing else important is happening today, just Martin Luther King Day. And that's the only really event that I'm thinking about today, and finishing this quilt. I don't know about y'all, but I, for one, have been holding space for the lyrics of Defying Gravity. I saw Wicked in theater with my mom initially, and then I watched it online as soon as it became available. Yeah, at this point I've probably seen it 5 times. And I think it's very cruel of them not to release the second part right away. Oh, I'm here just making huge stitches around the edge, just to keep the layers together around the edge. These stitches will come out once I'm ready to bind it. The book of Wicked was so brutal. I think I mentioned it on camera before, but it was so brutal. You know, in the book, this is spoiler alert. And then he dies. And at one point she has a quote in the book that says, "Maybe home is the place where you're never forgiven." I was listening to the audiobook at the time like, oh, this is harsh. Where's the musical? All right, people, this is what is going on in here on this day. I kept adding more ties, and I don't really know why. You didn't need this many. I just couldn't stop, and so I just kept adding more. And I'll show you kind of this portion right here. So you can see that I just will tie a knot, and then just go like a couple inches away and tie another knot, and then a couple inches away, another knot like this. And then what I'm gonna do next, you know what, I don't really have a tripod. My tripod is with the rest of my belongings that's coming here next week. I would normally use 2 hands, but I pretty much just cut it. And that's literally all I do. It's easier to do with 2 hands, but I have my other hand holding the camera. And that's it. And then I've done the majority of the quilt, and I just have this last portion left to do, which I'm gonna do hopefully today. And then that's it, and then this will be done. And by the way, it took me 4 days, or three days I think, to piece the quilt and sandwich it, and I've now been tying ties for like 2 weeks, so go figure. But yeah, cool, so it should be done soon, I hope. Alright, that's going to be all for today's video. If you like this flannel quilt, be sure to check out the other flannel quilt I made out of blue mammoth flannel. And thank you for coming to Dave's Craft Room. Remember to like and subscribe to my channel, and please come again.